Hey everybody, it's Emily Ream, president of BizPAD, and I am here to talk to you guys about how to use BizPAD to properly plan and prepare for an event. So I want to talk to you about one event specifically that I've been involved with over the last couple of months that just finished as of September, and I want to kind of use this as an example for you to see how you can use BizPAD and really get your entire team integrated and involved and collaborating and creating to make that event happen and make that event be a huge success. So my team, we were part of an event called the California Women's Conference just recently. So we created a project, and all these people over here that you see on the right-hand side, these are all people that are included in the project. These are all people that are either volunteers, members of our immediate team, or work in our office every day, and they've been added to this list. Now, one of the things that's really important about planning an event using BizPAD is that everyone knows how to use BizPAD. It can seem, really dumb to say, but you want to make sure that everyone knows specifically why you're using BizPAD and what the benefit is going to be for them. So whenever you're planning an event, you're always going to want to make the event title the project title. So as you can see in the project title row here, we have California Women's Conference, and there's a link to it in case people want to go there and check it out, which is a great idea, especially if you're adding team members that have not been to the event, don't really know a whole lot about it, and they might want to check it out on their own. So title of the event as the project title. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the first thing in your project is a special note to everyone that's involved in that project. So for example, anytime we do any event or any promotional stuff within BizPAD, we always make the first item of the project be a little note kind of explaining what the project's use is for. So for example, we have, hello everyone, this is a project we'll be using to organize all of the to-dos for the California Women's Conference. We're so excited to get things rolling, and we don't have much time, so we need all the help we can get. You've been added to this project because you've been chosen to play a part in this incredible event. Please get involved and feel free to contact me directly if you need any assistance or have suggestions. Thanks for your support, Emily Ream. So people know, okay, Emily created this project. I've been added because I've been chosen to play a part of the incredible event. How cool is that? So you make them feel welcomed, you get them involved, and it's a little personal message. It just adds a touch to, a kind of boring online tool that they might not be that excited to see. But when you add a personal message on there, it makes them feel a little bit more entitled to want to be involved, want to come in here, want to log in and see messages coming from you and see all the exciting stuff you're going to be working on. So the next item that we have is a note to everyone saying to familiarize yourself on how to use BizPAD, please watch the video on this page. And notice how in the item I put the direct link to our bizpad.com tour video. I don't know if you've seen the tour video. I would hope you've watched the tour video because it explicitly explains how to do everything that you'll need to know in BizPAD. It's like a quick little 11-minute video. So if you haven't checked it out, go to bizpad.com/tour and watch it. So this is the second item in the project. So now they have a personal message from me. They now know how to use BizPAD because they're going to watch the tour video, and they're pretty much ready to get started. So one of the things that you'll notice is that we have identified this project by folders. So these we added at a later time. You can see right here on the right-hand side. This was added towards the end of the month, whereas this item down here was added all the way back in August, 8/20. So we started building this project and planning for this event back in August. The event was in September, the end of September, and so we got everything kind of started ahead of time and wanted to get everybody integrated before, it was down to the last 2-3 weeks of the event. So these were added at a later time, and one of the first things that we did was we created folders. So a great idea, especially if you're going to be using lots of team members, is to add who is a part of the team. Who is going to be involved, what is their role, and why does everybody need to know. So for example, I am president of a company called BU. It's a girls' self-esteem lifestyle brand. And so my information is there, Emily Ream, BU president, my office line, my cell phone number. We have another lady in our office, Whitney Butler. She's going to be running one of the booths that'll be at this event. Another lady, Dina Simon, Amy, Allison, Erica, the Spencer family, Deborah, who runs the department of our company and the magazine in Colorado. And another integral part of her team is involved on here. Laura is also a part. So all of these people are members of the project. And they are also put in here as an item so that when people actually log in, they can physically see, okay, these are all the people that are involved. Because sometimes people will log into BizPAD, they don't know to go up here to the title row and see all the members that are listed here. It does tell you this in the training video, but sometimes we forget, and sometimes it's hard to really see who's involved. So if you want to see all the moving parts, a good idea is to create a folder listing out all of the team members with their contact info, a title if you want, and even, their role and responsibility for that specific project. So that's one of the first things we did. As you can see, we've specifically assigned some things to people. So for example, on Amy's, on the right-hand side, she posted her contact info in the notes section. And what we can do is really allow you to either add a note and say, hey, great, to see you all, great to meet you all virtually, I'm excited to be involved, whatever your message is. So it's great to also put yourself down in an item, but then in the discussion tab on the right-hand side, add a note for everyone to see as well. And you can do this right into the item. You could easily add, a little message saying, hey, I'm Emily Ream, with my information, or on the right-hand side, you could type it over there as well. So if I wanted to welcome everybody to the event, I could add a note, something like that. So again, back to the folder. We created a folder with everyone that's going to be involved in the project on there. I really, really suggest that you do that. It will be very beneficial so that everyone kind of sees all the moving parts. So then we broke down this project based on what we're going to be needing specifically at this conference. So we're going to need to have marketing material, and you can see we created a folder for that. All of our to-dos are listed here. We are going to need exhibit material. All of the exhibit material and items in regards to preparing, electrical equipment, booth setup, all that kinds of stuff is in here. Then we specifically broke down our booth into an individual folder. So you'll notice that this folder is titled Booth Number 1. This is going to be the BU store booth, and the leader of this booth is going to be Emily. Working with Emily is going to be Allison, Karen Ream, and Mary Ryder. So you can see this folder title is Booth Number 1. This is the name of the booth, and these are the people that are going to be running that booth. So you could easily do this in another item below the folder. So for example, if you wanted to add an item and say the women above will be responsible for running let's say for running booth number 1, for example. So you could do that, and then on the right you could list out the names. We've got myself, we've got Allison, we've got Karen, and we've got Mary. So you could easily do something like that, or you could just simply put it in the title of the folder like we've done here that you can see. So that is something that, is just a personal preference, whatever you want to do. Regardless, anyone who's involved in the entire project, anyone who is a project member is going to see everything that is listed here. So you want to keep that in mind. There's no way to actually limit individuals to see just folders. So you want to make sure that whatever information you're putting into the entire project is stuff that you want everyone to see. Now, if you don't want everyone to see it, you want to make sure that they are not a project member. And in this case, we had a huge event. We had lots of stuff going on. We wanted everyone to see as much as they could to see if they could contribute in some way, shape, or form and make sure everybody's all on the same page and knows what's going on. So going back to folders, so we created a folder for each booth that we were going to have at the conference. We had a total of 4 booths. So you can see we've got a folder for booth 1, we've got a folder for booth 2, a folder for booth 3, and the final booth I don't think was actually put on here. Here it is. There's the final booth, and it's this booth right here. So notice we have the title of the booth and a booth leader, or people who were responsible for running that booth at the event. So that's another, again, personal preference, but it's another great way for you to kind of identify who's going to be responsible for what. So we broke it down by folders, and then from there, we went even a step further and went a little bit specific. So we've got BU street decoration material that we're going to need, all these items that are pertaining to street decoration. We've got a folder for miscellaneous expenses that are going to be happening. This is a crucial thing that you might forget about. Planning events is very, very time consuming, very overwhelming. It can be stressful, and you want to make sure every little detail is put into your project, even something as simple as food. So moving on, we have another folder specific to some marketing stuff we were going to be doing, and this is good. We have a folder specifically for notes from calls. So what we did was we had our entire team, which is this team of people right over here, all of these individuals, we had them join in on a conference call, and we made sure everyone knew what was going on. Have you looked in BizPAD? Have you checked it out? You want to make sure you're really communicating, especially if you have a large group of individuals that are going to be involved with an event that you're planning. You want to be sure that everyone knows kind of what's happening and is on the same page and doesn't have any questions. Because sometimes, especially when you're doing a big event, I mean, look at this. That's a ton of stuff, and if you don't know how to use BizPAD and you're not that familiar with it, you log in here and you're seeing gray, you're seeing blue, purple, you're seeing folders, you're seeing little paper clips, check marks. I mean, it can be very overwhelming. But I promise you, if you take the time to explain and communicate with everyone that's involved, it will be much easier for everyone. So we specifically created a folder called Notes from Calls. Under here, we have the actual link to a recording from the conference call that we did with everyone. And this is, you can directly input a link. As you can see, we have one up here as well. In your item, it's really easy. All you got to do is just go to type where your item is, and you would just paste the link directly into your item, and it will show up as a hyperlink for you. So we made an item for each coaching call that we did, and CWC was an abbreviation of the event. The event was the California Women's Conference, so we abbreviated that. And we have recording call 1, recording call 2, and recording call 3, and the link is right there. So if anybody that's involved in planning this event with you missed out on anything, they have an opportunity to go into BizPAD, check it out, and you can also send this link directly to them in an email, or something that's really handy is you can send them a direct link to this item. So if you've watched the BizPAD training video, you already know how to do this, but I will show you again. So this is something that I actually did often when we were preparing for this event. I emailed our entire team members, our entire list of volunteers, and I emailed them specific items. So for example, I wanted to make sure they were using BizPAD. You want to get out of the habit of using email. So you want to make sure that they're going into BizPAD to check everything. So as a backup, I sent an email to everyone on our team, and what I did was I linked it specifically to an item in BizPAD. So in the email, when they received a link, it brought them to BizPAD, and they were automatically brought into the project and could immediately see exactly what event I was talking, or exactly what item I was talking about. So on the right-hand side in the discussion tab, there's a paperclip, this little blue line, and this yellow little spinning circle. So this blue line, if you hover over it, you see get a link. Where did it go? There you go. Get a link to this item. So if you click that, whatever item is highlighted, you can see this item right here is blue. So this is going to be the item that it's referring to, and this is a specific link to that item. So if I wanted my entire team to log into BizPAD and look at one specific thing and make sure they saw that, I would go to the link sharing little button, I would click it, I would get this link, I would copy it, I'd hit OK, and I would blast it out to everyone, whether that's through Skype, whether that's through an email, whether you wanted to just give it to somebody over the phone so they can go to the link specifically, however you want to do it, instant messaging, whatever method you have other than BizPAD as far as communicating with your team, this is a really easy way to do that. And so that is something that I think is very often underused when you're in BizPAD, We want to make sure that everyone knows how to get into BizPAD, how to use it, and how to specifically look at one thing if you need them to. And that's where this little guy comes in handy. So another example of that is once the event was over, you can see anything that's black is something that was a current event that had happened. So you'll notice anything that's black does not have anything in this status box. This is the status box on the right-hand side, and all of these are open because there's no need to mark these as done. This is just specifically a list for everyone to see. So now when you're looking in this, it's easy to identify what's been done and what's not been done. Any of the done items will be marked as gray, and you can see we have a ton of things that were done as we kind of went through the process of planning this event. And you'll notice that it's got a little checkbox in the status, and the entire item coloring will go gray. The hyperlink will stay blue, but it will go gray. Now, one thing I want to show you is something that might get overlooked, and that's the closed items. So I'm going to go up here to the filter bar and hit closed. I'm going to refresh for my project, and it's going to bring up a list of all of the things that have either been marked as to do, done, or closed. And again, to do, done, and closed, those are easily identified by the status box. To do means there's nothing here. This is an open item. Done means there is a checkbox, and closed is an X. Looks something like this. So now you can see our project is even a little bit longer because it's now showing everything that's been put in here. All the done, all the closed, anything. So it is a little bit longer, but this is a great example of how effective BizPAD can be when planning an event. So you can see we've got the beginning, we've got all our members, we've got our welcome message, we've got a link to learn how to use BizPAD, we've got all of our folders, and you can see we've done a ton of stuff in here. We've had lots of people involved, lots of interaction happening. There's communication happening on the right-hand side. There's priorities that were being set. Things are getting checked off. Things are getting closed off. And you can really see that things are happening efficiently and effectively. And BizPAD helps to kind of archive all of that for you. So I wanted to give you an example just so that you could see what BizPAD is capable of. I mean, this event took lots of preparation and lots of dedication from multiple parties, and we had everyone working in BizPAD, and it was so incredible to see how easy it was to put something in the miscellaneous expense, assign it to a specific individual, and get it marked as done, and close it, and be done with it. I can't tell you how easy BizPAD made planning this event and really accessible for everyone that was involved. So I wanted to kind of just give you an example of how you can plan your event using BizPAD. This is just a sample of something that we did, and you can identify your folders and items however you want. Again, that's just a personal preference, but I wanted you to see just some of the ways that we did it, and you know, use it as kind of a template and a guide for you to be able to use whenever you want to plan your next event. So in regards to that, again, BizPAD can be extremely helpful. I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to get everyone involved and really communicate with everyone ahead of time. We will definitely be doing this again for the Women's Conference, and I guarantee you we will have a new one for the year 2013, and we will be using BizPAD exactly the same way we did this year, and we will put all our members in here, we'll put the welcome note, we'll put the link to the tour, and whether you've been using BizPAD for a year or you've been using BizPAD for a day, it's really important to make sure that everyone gets involved and is aware of how to kind of move your event forward and be more productive. So this is an example of an event we did with BizPAD. I would love to see some samples of what you guys can do with BizPAD. I look forward to talking to you guys soon, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. This is Emily Ream, President of BizPAD, and we'll talk to you soon.